Hi everyone, for today's video, I'm just going to be playing with makeup, and the main inspiration for this look is actually the Chikuhodo MK2 Cherry Blossom Powder Brush. Now as you can see here, the handle is so pretty, and these are lacquered cherry blossom designs, so that's the main reason why I was so inspired. And also the other thing is that I have seen photos of friends of mine who are living in Japan, and they're all posting photos of the cherry blossoms in full bloom. And you know, if you've seen my last video about my review on the Chikuhodo MK2 powder brush, I said there that I've been wanting to see the cherry blossoms for the longest time, and I think because this clamor of mine is, you know, has been so constant to the past few years that at this time of the year, all I could think about is actually just like, you know, cherry blossoms. And because the main inspiration for this video is the cherry blossom, most of the colors that I will be using will be in the ranges of pinks, violets, and maybe light purples, because these are all the colors that you see in a bloom of a sakura tree. Now this is also a good opportunity for me to use like a lot of my products that I just have in my makeup kit and mix in the most recent beauty products that I hauled. And there I even have like a few products that I got out from the vault, because when I was planning this video early this morning, I said like, oh my god, I have some colors and some products in my vault that I would like to show you guys, because it just kind of ties up with our theme for today. So let's begin. So I already have my skincare on, so I'm gonna list everything down at the description box so you guys can go check it out. Okay, so first I'm gonna apply a base. So this is like a blurring base from Laura Mercier. And the reason why I'm using this is because I want to create a very nice soft focused look, because after all, the cherry blossom is a very dainty flower. And for my base, I'm going to be mixing these two foundation colors on me, just so I have a little bit of warmth on my skin. And just like that, the sun disappeared. I apologize for that. So I'm just buffing the foundation all over my skin with my Chikuhodo PF4 brush, just so I have a very thin layer all over. And just like that, the sun decides to come out again. Thank God. All right, I'm quite happy with the coverage. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna apply this cheek color. This is Cloud Paint from Glossier. And the main reason why I'm doing this is because sometimes when we put foundation on, I tend to lose the natural coloring of my skin. So adding just a hint of color in my cheeks at this point of my makeup routine, it just doesn't, you know, play with my psychology that I look so pale. So I'm just using very light strokes, and I'm just buffing it onto my cheeks. Okay, next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some concealer on my under eye area, just so it brightens it a teeny tiny bit. And I'm glad that the sun has decided to come out. I didn't realize that it was going to be quite cloudy today, so I apologize again if the lighting changes. I actually prefer to use natural light when I'm doing videos, mainly because, you know, we don't have a spotlight following us around when we walk about town. Okay, so I'm just gonna get the brush that I used earlier for my foundation, and I'm just gonna blend the concealer well into the blush and into the foundation. Okay, so now I'm gonna set my face with loose powder, but it's just going to be a very light layer of powder, just so that whatever powder products that I'm going to be using later will glide on effortlessly. And I'm also going to set the concealer that I applied. And I'm gonna begin with this very nice color here. This is from Revlon Color Stay. This is their cream eyeshadow, and this is in number 745. Yeah, so as you can see here, it's a very nice like violet-y pink, and this is actually named Cherry Blossom. So this is what I'm going to use as my all over eye base for this eye makeup look, and it's giving me that very nice delicate color that I like. It also has a nice violet sheen to it, so this actually is very, you know, very nice and very pretty and very girly, and it's quite fitting to use it for this spring season. So I'm just using a synthetic brush for this, and I'm just spreading it fairly well into my eyelid and just buffing it out into my brow bone area. All right, so now I have my initial color down. As you can see, this is a very nice color, and you can see the, you know, nice hints of violet shimmer peeking out from your eyelid. Now this is a very nice color to use alone. Like, it's very delicate and very pretty, but we're not gonna be doing that today. So what I have here is my Dior Pink Sakura 5-piece eyeshadow. Now this is a limited edition and I did review this. Now if you're interested to see that review, I'm gonna put a link down below and you can go check it out for yourself. And I have decided that I'm just gonna be playing with some of the colors that we see in this quint. And I'm gonna start with this eyeshadow here. And I'm going to apply that all over my eyelid using the Chikuhodo S4 brush. Now, because this is made of Psychoho hair, so it picks up a very delicate amount of product. So that way, I don't deliver a ton of shimmer into my eyelid. Now, this is just like, like an initial color. And I'm just gonna blend it well into my brow bone. Again, I do apologize for the change in lighting. I was not expecting it to be cloudy today. I checked AccuWeather and I didn't see any news that it was going to be cloudy. But I think it's a nice lesson for us today so that we can see how makeup actually, registers well on skin that is, lit naturally. And this is how it will look when light changes. So that's part of the variables and when you're putting on makeup anyway. All right, so the next color that I have is this color here, and I'm just going to apply that into my socket line here, and this will be like my transition shade, and I'm just blending it in windshield wiper motions, back and forth, and blending it well into my brow bone. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick up this color here and I'm gonna use this to line up my upper lash line with. So I'm actually using this color to add the initial depth that I want on my eye. This is also such a pretty color. It's quite plummy in nature and it does really emphasize the color of my eyes fairly well. Okay, so I'm just smudging that color a teeny tiny bit, because I don't want any, very strong colors on my eyes at this time. Okay, so I want to add a very soft dramatic flick here. Not for the drama, but because I just want my eyes to be lifted. Okay, so let's just further emphasize that and soften it. Alright, so this serves as my base and I like that it has already created a nice lift for my eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of that color here on the outer portion of my lower lash line, just so we have a very nice cohesive look going on. All right, okay, so now I'm gonna go back to that dark color and I'm just picking up the color here at the very tips of this brush. Now if you're very intrigued with this brush, this is actually a reincarnation of the PS4 brush, so they're the same. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna use this brush to apply a very nice, kind of like a cut crease. This just adds some drama without really overdoing it, and it's just like emphasizing the depth of my socket line. Alright, so I'm just softening the edges and blending everything out because I want to have a very soft yet defined eye look today. Now, as I've said earlier, I actually found some makeup in my vault and I was thinking like, should I use this or not? Because most of the makeup in my vault are at least like, a decade old. But this is what we do when we're playing with makeup. We play with everything that we have in our disposal. And one of the products that I actually saw on the vault that I think would be perfect for this look is actually this powder. So this is called Tonoko and this is made by the Japanese makeup brand Mitsuyoshi. It's like a Japanese makeup brand that makes like stage makeup or makeup for geishas and kabuki actors, things like that. So I actually bought this in here's Hyakusuke. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing the name right because it's been like over 10 years that I have been to the store. But I actually went there in 2011 and that's where I actually first bought a lot of my traditional makeup brushes, like especially from my earliest collections I got from them. And I also got this. Now the main reason why I got this powder is because this is what actually geishas use to mix into their white makeup, and they actually create contouring on their faces using this. So I'm not going to use this for contouring today, but I'm just going to use this to emphasize this eye makeup look. So let's flip it over. And as you can see, it has a very like blue pink powdering. And I'm just going to use this just to add some depth and brightness and it's gonna act as a blending agent for this eye makeup look. Alright, so I'm quite happy with that, and I was initially worried at first, but you know, as I checked it out earlier before I started this video, it had a very blue tint to its coloring, so I wasn't worried that it was going to wash out or tone down the eyeshadow look, because all of the eyeshadow colors that I have on my eye at the moment have blue tints in it, so that's quite perfect actually. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back to my palette here from Dior, the Pink Sakura palette, and I'm just going to add a teeny tiny bit of color here on my brow bone, just for some emphasis and drama. Okay, and the next thing what I'm gonna do is I'm going to add this gold color here. Now this is from my VCR Petit Pro 1. Yeah, so this is a nice gilded gold color, and I'm just going to apply it as close to my lash line as possible, just on top of the eyeshadow color that I used to emphasize my lashes, and I'm just blending it well into my eyelid. Okay, so the reason why I'm adding this color is because, as I said in the beginning of this video, that I was so inspired by my Chikuhodo MK2 powder brush, and if you can see here, it has a lot of gold shimmer in them, and they blend extremely well into the pink pigments of the petals of the cherry blossom. So that's the main reason why I wanted to add some of this golden color here, and it does really well of complementing the violet shades of our eyeshadow today, so they work well on emphasizing each other. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna apply a very thin layer of eyeliner as close to my lash line as possible. Now the reason why I'm doing this is so that I don't lose any definition on my eye at all, and it just helps to elongate the eye. But I'm not gonna apply a very extreme black eyeliner, but I'm just gonna apply a very thin layer of color just to help emphasize my eyelashes. Alright, so as you can see, it's giving me a very nice almond shape, and it's just helping me to lengthen my eye look. So let's just add a little bit of this eyeliner into the outer flick here. Yeah, so pretty. I like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this middle color here, and this is what I'm going to use to blend everything on my lower lash line. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to finish this other eye, and then I'm going to come back. Okay, so now my left eye is done. What I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off the eye, and I'm going to start with mascara. So I'm just going to add this volumizing mascara on my upper lashes, building up the volume, especially here at the outer corner, so that it just gives me a very nice lifted look. Alright, wow, look at that. It's quite lifted. I actually like this mascara. This is from VMV, so this is their volumizing mascara. And the main reason why I like it is because, there are some mascaras wherein it gets to be too dark and it gets to be too clumpy. And when that happens, it kind of destroys the eyeshadow story that you're creating on your eye. So at least with this, you can still see, the colors of the eyeshadows that we applied earlier. And this mascara just really helps in, building your lashes and adding the necessary drama without unnecessarily overdoing it. Okay, I'm looking a little bit shiny right now, so I'm just applying a very thin layer of translucent powder with a clean brush. Alright, so next what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some color to my cheeks. And I have here with me my Pink Pearl Meteorites. Now, I just recently reviewed this, and I'm just so glad that I'm able to find this meteorite because it fits very well with the theme of today's video. And of course, this was also released for spring 2021. So this is actually a very nice finishing powder to have for the season. And truthfully, even though if this is like a finishing powder, it acts more of like a blush, and I love how well it actually gives color to the cheeks without overdoing it. I really like this. And of course, I'm using my Chikuhodo MK2 Cherry Blossom Powder brush for this. Now the brush head here is very fluffy, and I find that it actually delivers a very delicate and well diffused amount of pigment on the skin. Okay, so let's add that here on the other side of the cheeks. Alright, so as you can see right now, the colors of my eyeshadows and my blush is actually working well together in lifting my complexion and counteracting with the yellow tones of my skin. And these two products are actually making me come alive and giving so much color and life into my skin. Alright, so now I want to add some soft definition to my skin. So I have here my Guerlain Torre Meteorites. And with the same brush that I used for my Pink Pro Meteorites, I'm just adding a hint of warmth into my cheeks and also along the forehead. Okay, I'm gonna tone down more of the shine here. I always get shiny at this part. Okay, so I'm almost done and we're down to the lips. And while I was going through my vault earlier, I actually saw my very old NARS bento box collection. Now this was released sometime in 2010 or 2011, I can't really remember. And this is actually a collection of 2 lip products in a saucer like this. Now one of the colors is actually a very nice bright pink like this, and this is called Sakura. And the other lip product that we have here is called Maiko, so it's a very nice yellow toned red. So as a brief history, in Japan before, during like the Edo period around the 1800s when they were closed off from the world, most of their women got their lipsticks and the rouges in saucers like this, wherein like a very thin layer of rouge or pigment or lipstick is actually painted into the saucer here, and you know, they either use their fingers or they use a brush and they apply it wherever they want to apply on their face. So this is quite like a nice nod to that traditional way of actually keeping makeup. And back in the 1800s in Japan, the saucers actually didn't have covers, so they would just actually like, you know, lay this on top of their table so that it doesn't really dry out. So while I was actually preparing for this video, I was like having an internal conversation with myself that maybe I should use the color Sakura on me today, but I decided not to because, you know, this is more than 10 years old, so it's better to be safe than sorry. But I just want to show you guys what this color actually looks like. So I'm going to lift it out and then I'm just gonna swatch it at the back of my hand, and it's a very nice pop of color actually. So it's a very nice blue pink. You can see it's very creamy, it blends fairly well, and it also spreads fairly easily, so it really does apply a good amount of color on the lips. Now I just really stopped using this back in the day because I didn't want to lose the color that we have here on the pot, and you know, I just wanted to keep this for posterity's sake because it's just a nice reminder. It's like a reflection of like Japanese makeup history, so that's why I really wanted to keep this. And of course it was very bulky as well. I didn't really want to carry it around because it came in this type of a packaging in like a wooden bento box, so it was quite heavy and it took up so much space in my makeup kit. So that's the reason why I practically didn't use it much for work back in the day. But you know, it's a nice like remembrance. So if I do remember, I think only like 300 of this was made, or 500, I really can't remember. So I actually blogged about this back in the day when I used to have multiply.com, but when multiply disappeared, all of the information that I actually blogged about this got also lost. But anyway, so I'm gonna finish my lips now, and I have here this nice bright lipstick from B&B Hypoallergenics. It's called Babe. So as you can see, it is also a blue based pink, but it has more white pigments in it than the Sakura color from NARS, but we're going to be using it anyway. And the main reason why I just want to use a much more lighter colored pink lipstick is because if you use a very bright and highly pigmented pink lipstick right now, it is going to like overpower our face because it's already quite pink in nature. So I'm just applying this in a very gentle manner on my lips, concentrating on the inner portion, and I'm just spreading it nicely and thinly on the lips, so it's gonna be coming out like a tint. Alright, so I want to add some intensity, so I'm just tapping the lipstick on my lip. Alright, so it's giving me a nice hint of color in my lips, and what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna add this lip gloss from Laura Mercier. This is called Bare Pink, and I'm just applying it on my lip. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want to have a much more hydrated looking lip, because after all, you know, during the spring season it's still so dry, everything is so dry, and we just need to hydrate our lips so that we don't end up with cracked lips. Alright, so I'm gonna keep my brows as is because if I overemphasize them, it's just going to close down my eyes and it's going to ruin the story that my eyeshadows are saying at the moment. And I'm actually so glad that the sun has managed to come out a teeny tiny bit just as I'm about to finish this video so that you guys can see how well this makeup look actually looks under natural light. And I love how the colors are actually giving life to my skin, making me look fresh and healthy, which is actually perfect for this time of the year. Alright, so that's it for me today. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, which is inspired by the cherry blossoms in Japan, and of course my Chikuhodo MK2 cherry blossom powder brush. Now if you have any more questions about the products that I used today, please leave them down in the comments box below. Let's have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye bye.